going on, everybody? Welcome back to another exciting edition of The Pit, your Georgia regional sports show where we go through everything Georgia sports. I'm joined by my main guys over here, WCTV's Ryan Kelly and WRDW's Joe Dorr. And fellas, appreciate y'all being here.
Of course.
Yeah, absolutely.
Man, there was a big weekend last weekend when it came to college baseball. Several teams now have punched their tickets to Omaha. We're going to start off with the team out of Athens, the Georgia Dogs. A very valid series, man. It came down to the nitty-gritty. Joe, I know you were actually at that game, man. Tell us what you saw.
Yeah, I was talking about it before we got started here. This was one of the most wild college baseball games that I ever had the pleasure of watching. Caden Aoki, 121 pitches. Was not really getting Georgia that comfortable of a lead. It was 8-4 when he came out of the game, but still 4 runs with about 3 innings left to go. You would have liked Georgia's chances, but when he came off of the mound, you had to love the Dogs' opportunity to make it to Omaha. I had already written my scripts for my newscast, and then boom, solo home run number 1, 2, 3, and I said, oh boy, we could be due for a game 3 today on Monday. So very happy to see the Dogs be able to close it out. That Daniel Jackson 2-run shot in the top of the 10th was absolutely wild. I don't know if I've ever heard a baseball stadium go that crazy outside of the major league level. So just being able to be in that atmosphere, Georgia does seem like a team of destiny. Mississippi State, a lot of credit to them. That's a team that could have made it to Omaha if you put them up against maybe anybody else in the NCAA tournament. So Georgia's got the fight to make it all the way through Omaha, the first time getting back there since 2008. They're going to have a tough test. We talked about this. That side of the bracket is extremely difficult. Georgia's going to have to go up against Texas, and then on the other side of their bracket, it's looking like it's going to be Alabama and Oklahoma. So 4 SEC teams on that side. We'll see if Georgia comes out of it. They do have the best opportunity, in my opinion, to make it out of those 4 teams.
I can't agree with you more, man. It definitely has been a wild weekend. Ryan, tell me some of the things you liked and you didn't like about the weekend.
Well, I think if you go big picture, first and foremost, the fact that Georgia has not done this in 18 years, and you take a look so many times when UGA has hosted regionals throughout that time, how many heartbreaking losses they've had, how many bad breaks that they've had, how many bad beats they've had, even when they've made it past that regional round into supers. It's really tough to sweep a team 3-0 in a weekend in college baseball. It's really tough to do that and then beat them again in a conference tournament. It's then really, really, really tough to sweep that team, beat them in a conference tournament, and then get it done in a sweep in a super regional fashion. And it's even tougher when you think about every single one of these games was close. Georgia baseball has had that reputation in the past 18 years since they were the national runner-up in 2008 of not being able to win these close games in these big moments, and they did it again and again and again. And as Joe brought up, Caden Aoki was so good in that second game. You needed every bit of that 5 2/3 you got out of him. And honestly, this was a whole staff effort from UGA as well. I get it. Yeah, Mississippi State was able to get their hits. They were able to get their home runs. Back-to-back jacks is not ideal no matter who you're playing and no matter where you're playing it. But the fact that Georgia feels comfortable in these moments again, the fact that Georgia always rose up to the challenge. I think it's a great credit to where the Dogs program is right now. And it's only gotten that way by having these opportunities over time. And now as we turn our attention to Omaha is where I get really curious because we already talked about it. A lot of balls flying out of the yard, a whole lot of feeding the trees. I think they're full at this point. So you take that in Foley Field, what a bandbox that place is and how it plays. And now you're going to Charles Schwab Field. A field, by the way, that the Georgia Bulldogs have never played in as a program. We were still playing at Rosenblatt the last time the Dogs made it to Omaha. And now you have a park that plays the exact opposite. I'm interested to see how Georgia can handle that challenge when a lot of those balls that they're used to going out in the home park are staying in at Omaha.
I can't agree with you more, fellas. Definitely looking to be a stacked SEC lineup. We talk about 4 teams potentially being there in Oklahoma. You have Ole Miss. You have Texas. You now have Georgia. And then you're looking at even the potential Bama. So make it almost 5 teams, give or take. But we just talk about the excitement there. I know there's some outliers. Shout out to the Troy Trojans. You know, their first time there in program history. They're on an historic run right now. Got to give credit to the home team there. But a lot of excitement. What teams are you most excited to see in the College World Series, and who do you think actually makes it out on top, if we had to say?
I guess I'll start first here. I think outside of Georgia, I think West Virginia is definitely one of the anomalies in the terms of there's going to be 5 potential SEC teams in this tournament. West Virginia not being one of them, but they just cruised through the postseason. I mean, I know they played Cal Poly here in the Super Regional, but you're supposed to beat teams like the historic rate of Cal Poly, like West Virginia did. They dismantled them in games 1 and 2. So I'm excited to see what the Mountaineers can do in their first time ever going to Omaha. And then I do think Troy is a very good team to watch. And I do think that's a team that could make some noise and potentially get into the Final Four teams here, because the Trojans, just like West Virginia did, they took care of business. They got their ticket to the postseason, and they have taken advantage of every step of it. They had a huge home crowd in a stadium that only seats about 2,300 people. They broke the attendance record with almost 10,000 people, and I'm from down in that area in Mobile, so I'm not too far from Troy. I've been to that campus before.
Oh, yeah.
10,000 people at those stadiums. That's incredible. So the fact that the Trojans fan base not only showed out, but the team did what they did so far in the postseason, I do think West Virginia and Troy are definitely two teams I'm excited to watch here. Just a little bit of variety and some difference in Omaha.
I agree. Ryan, your thoughts?
Well, just sticking big picture with Joe, like you said, when you have 10,000 people in Troy, Alabama, just in a place that literally holds $2,000, what's so great about college baseball in this era right here, right now, is that it feels like in an age of college sports where there's haves and have-nots, and everybody's disenfranchised with what football brings to the table and what basketball brings to the table, baseball feels like it has that old school March Madness feel. Anybody can do this. Anybody can get hot in a weekend. Anybody can get it done. I mean, people forget Troy was down in the loser's bracket in that regional. UF was in the driver's seat there in Gainesville. The Trojans go back-to-back days, and they absolutely outslug the Gators on their home field. That's quite the accomplishment. You take a look at that, and then you take a look at West Virginia, like he said. You don't know what you don't know sometimes when it's your first time in Omaha, when it's your first time in the big dance, when there is no pressure and you're playing with house money. Steve Sabins, of course, in his second season on the job after Randy Mazey retired, he's done such a good job upholding what WVU kind of had as a forward momentum. Watching them sing Country Roads.
I was about to say, that moment there, did y'all get the chance to see that?
Cool.
Very cool. Very cool moment.
It's the most European soccer tradition that I feel like we have in North American sports. It reminds you of watching like Liverpool sing You'll Never Walk Alone or something like that. It's really, really cool. I really like West Virginia. Obviously, as you said, this is an SEC-heavy field. I feel like some of the other power leagues maybe didn't deliver as much as we thought. Troy's obviously from the Sun Belt, but I mean, Coastal Carolina fizzled out in Tallahassee. They were 2 in a barbecue, ended up getting eliminated by Florida State. You take a look at what Southern Miss did. They ended up getting bounced in their own regional in Hattiesburg. The ACC, obviously a down year. Georgia Tech and Florida State both had a little bit of a role to play with that. North Carolina, the only ACC team in Omaha. As a matter of fact, if I'm remembering this correctly, the first time since 2005 it would have been. The ACC did not have a team in Omaha, had North Carolina not walked off USC. But overall, I'm excited for this field. I feel like Georgia's the team to beat right now, but to my earlier point, as talented as they are, as good as they are, as complete as they feel, they're not used to playing in a park that's quite the cavern that Charles Schwab is, and it can be a very, very different dynamic, particularly for a team that lives and dies off slugging sometimes.
No doubt about it, fellas. It's definitely going to be a great show, and those games start next week, so we'll be looking forward to those. Hopefully see if Georgia can't make a deep run and possibly win the whole darn thing. Meanwhile, we're going to stay on the diamond. Coming up after the break, we're going to talk the hottest team in MLB right now, your Atlanta Braves. Welcome back in, everybody. We're going to stick here on the diamond talking about arguably the hottest team in MLB right now, the Atlanta Braves, coming off a sweep of the Pittsburgh Pirates, their 18th series win, an MLB best, and they're set to take on the Chicago White Sox next. Fellas, what are we seeing out of the Braves? I know there have been several key players step up. Ha-Seong Kim, one of those. I know, Joe, you got some thoughts about that one. Meanwhile, some big bats going on, especially in the way of Drake Baldwin, Matt Olson. The list goes on and on at this point.
Yeah, I tore into Ha-Seong Kim last week, and I'll make sure I don't do that again here this week. I mean, we talk about it, Ryan. We've been on this show for almost every week the last several weeks, and it's a broken record at this point. Everybody seems to step up when it matters the most. If you got your star players like Acuna, Olson struggling out at the plate, you got guys like Mauricio Dubon, Dom Smith, all stepping up to fill that role. Dubon had a great series against the Pirates and right before it against the Blue Jays. I mean, the Braves have just simply been the best team that I have maybe ever seen play in the regular season, being a Braves fan my whole life, but also just from the outside looking in. This is one of the most complete baseball teams at the major league level that we maybe have ever seen. 18 series wins. It is June 7th today, or June 8th today, rather. I mean, that is just unprecedented stuff. I don't know how many more positive things that we haven't discussed about the Braves we can bring up, because I'm starting to scrape the bottom of the barrel for talking points here, because this team is just so darn good. And we've talked about it. When is this slump going to happen? When are the Braves finally going to maybe fall into a lull? Is it going to be right before the All-Star break, right after it? Well, we're about a month away from the All-Star break, and it still has not happened yet. So, as I said, everybody's stepping up for the Braves when it matters most. Spencer Strider, even though he has not looked the best since he has come back from injury, he's still throwing plenty of strikeouts. He's still giving the offense opportunities to stay in the game, or even if they get behind, the offense is bringing him up off of his ground and still winning the game. So coming off a sweep against the Pirates here, and I mean, we're just going straight through the cruising mode here as we get closer to a series with the Mets. For the first time this year, I do think that's kind of wild that the Braves have not played New York yet until this coming week. So we will see how they do against another NL East division foe, but that series lead and that series win mark, and rather that division lead, just continues to grow, and I don't see it slowing down anytime soon.
I can't agree with you more. Ryan, what are some positives you're seeing, and what do you think they can improve on?
I mean, what do I even say? I mean, it seems like every time somebody's playing something well, like Joe said, we're a broken record. We could just record this segment once, and we could just run it every week. This could be previously taped April 12th. And we could just run this until they start losing. So at this point, I don't know. You mentioned them playing the Mets for the first time this year. Excited to see what happens there in Queens, but don't sleep on the White Sox. This is a team that's currently in second right now in the AL Central. They've got some interesting pieces, but I'm so happy Joe brought up Mauricio Dubon. The game I got to pay the closest attention to this weekend among all the super regional action was Friday, and to see that two-run homer, to see him bring home that RBI later on in the game, this is just a really, really good example of you never know who's going to step up for the Braves any given night. Marcell Ozuna would have loved to at least take a game in his return to Truist Park, and the Braves made sure that did not happen. So, honestly, the Braves don't need my help. Just keep doing what you're doing, gang. You're going to be just fine.
Fellas, we talk about it 1 through 9. That team is explosive. Like you said, it could be anybody's game. We got to talk about Marcell Ozuna. He gets that big standing ovation coming back, and it was almost a moment to be like, Big Bear has been known to hit some bombs in Truist Park. So I know that had to be a surreal moment for him to be back in there. And it didn't go the way he probably wanted to, but just the excitement there. Hopefully one day down the line, he comes back to the Atlanta Braves. But without him, this team has been pretty dominant. You talk about guys like Dubon that have stepped up. They call him Scooby-Doo at this point. Like, this guy is crazy. Like, Dubon is Dom Smith. That list goes on and on. I don't know if y'all been doing the All-Star voting, but definitely like more Braves I expect to see in Philly this year, just because they literally are the hottest team. And there's even been some guys. I think Shohei's up against like Austin Riley in one of those situations or something like that. And I'm like, who do I vote for here? Is it Shohei Ohtani, of course, but you're also like, let me get all Braves on the list at this point. Just why not? So I think it's definitely going to be exciting. I expect to see several of them make the second round and then possibly go on to Philly and represent the Braves. But just overall, man, this team lights out game in and game out. We've seen excitement. They've lost a minimum, not even a handful of series, I want to say at this point. It's very slim. And just the excitement this team is bringing, especially coming from last year, where you talk about this time last year, they had as many wins as they had losses. Now you talk about this team has more predominantly wins. And just without injuries, I know catchers have been a kind of dime a dozen right now. Several people in the farm system getting opportunities to move up. We talk about Didier Fuentes getting his first save last night. Shout out to the former Columbus Clingstone. So just a lot of excitement in that bullpen and just the rotation overall.
Yeah, I saw a great tweet last night. It was, or I guess a Z, whatever we call it now on X.com, the everything app. Everything's happening on X. But anyways, if the Braves were to finish 500 this season, I mean, they would still almost finish, if not finish, with 100 wins. I would rather them not finish the season 500 because I want to continue watching some of the best baseball I've ever seen played by the Braves. But, I mean, that's just an incredible stat within itself. That the fact that people will say it's all about getting hot at the right time, but the Braves for the last several years have struggled to get hot during the start of the season, or maybe not even get hot, just play 500 ball, because we've seen them play behind the 8 ball up until the All-Star break the last few years. So to be able to see them not only just have this comfortable lead, but be in a position to possibly finish with one of the franchise's best ever seasons in the regular season, it doesn't mean anything until you get to the postseason, of course. I mean, We don't want to be let down like we were against the Phillies in 23, but we will see how far that they can take it because we're a long way from the postseason. Still plenty of ball left to go.
All I'm saying is I am not a member of the Baseball Writers Association of America, but if I was Manager of the Year, Walt Weiss would have my vote very, very easy.
I'm glad you mentioned that. I was just like, shout out to Walt Weiss in year one, what he's been able to do with this team. And I mean, many people will say it's just a plug and play. They just had to put a manager in that spot. But definitely, ever since that tackle, my man's been against Jorge Soler. My guy's been like
Jorge Soler got taken to the floor.
And things have not been great for my Angels ever since. So.
Oh, yeah. That's true. That's true. That's true.
And they won't be till Artie sells the team.
I was going to say, were they ever that tackle?
Hey, man, a lot of excitement there. Well, hey, we have one more block to go. And, of course, we have to talk about the NBA Finals, where right now my man Drew Provine's up in New York. I think he's living up high with the New York Knicks on the high. They're looking to go for a sweep, game number 3 tonight against the San Antonio Spurs. We'll see if it can get done. We'll talk about more coming up after the break. Before we go, we got to talk about NBA Finals. Game 3 starting tonight. I believe it's 8:30. The New York Knicks up 2-0 over the San Antonio Spurs. If you caught Game 2, that game came down to the wire. Some late mistakes by Victor Wembanyama cost the Spurs a win. And now they head to the Garden, where they call it the pressure cooker, as they aim to try to steal 1 or 2 on the road and force a Game 5. But things are not looking great for the Spurs. Meanwhile, the Knicks have all the momentum on their side. And on top of that, the president will be in the building tonight. So what do we think, fellas? Will that be a bad sign or a good sign for the New York faithful?
Ryan, I'll let you take that one.
Matters is that I think all that really matters is as long as the Knicks continue to keep Danhausen happy, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
You'll be absolutely fine. But that being said, I cannot wait. Listen, both of these games have been fantastic, and even beyond basketball, I'll give the NHL a shout-out, too. I'm a hockey guy. This
Stanley Cup
finals have been phenomenal. So
Vegas Black Knights.
The atmospheres in Raleigh were great. The atmosphere in Vegas with the world's most spoiled professional fan base, the Golden Knights. They've both been great atmospheres. Obviously, the atmosphere was great in San Antonio. It was in the heyday when Pop had things cooking over there. But now the Garden, I cannot wait to see what this looks like tonight, just as a casual fan, to breathe in what Manhattan's going to be like. Because it doesn't matter if they win or lose, Manhattan's going to riot. It's going to be absolutely insane. We've seen what it looks like there on social media anytime that the Knicks do anything bad or good in these NBA playoffs. So overall, I am so excited to see what the Garden looks like tonight. I'm so excited to see what MSG looks like. And by the way, if they can get it done in 4, oh my.
Yeah, I'm with Ryan on this one. I think tonight, I don't really know who's going to win this game. The Knicks have come from behind a little bit in Game 1. They came from behind in Game 2, as we saw, and then the Spurs kind of crumbled in the fourth quarter. But to be able to just host a finals game for the first time since '99, as you said, the president's going to be there. Security is on lockdown. Those ticket prices are, I think the cheapest ticket was like $10,000. Josh Hart wasn't too happy about that yesterday in his press conference. He was saying he wishes they were a little bit cheaper, but just the fact that New York is getting to host the finals for the first time in literally so long. I wasn't even born the last time that this happened. So the fact that the Knicks will be on their home court, raucous crowd, the environment's going to be crazy. The outside of MSG is going to be crazy wherever they can go watch the game, because I know there's no watch parties directly outside the arena this evening. But that city is going to go up in flames if we are sitting here next Monday saying that the New York Knicks won the series in 4, possibly even 5, because Game 5 would happen before next Monday. So I'm excited to see what's going to happen. I'm still rooting for San Antonio as a New York Knicks hater, but I can't discredit what Jalen Brunson and the rest of the Knicks have been doing here in the last couple games.
I can't agree with y'all more, fellas. They talk about that long-term streak. I believe they're currently up to 13 straight wins. I think the longest streak is 15. Gotta admit, though, I know I had a hot take way back when, but the only loss they've had this whole entire playoff series happened to come by the Atlanta Hawks. That's the one claim to fame. I had part of that right. Maybe a little bit. Maybe I stretched.
Put right out of my mouth. If they sweep, the only team to beat them, Atlanta.
Yeah. Where were you when the 2026 Atlanta Hawks took down the NBA Finals champion?
Bro, you told me that like so many months ago that was going to be the case, and the Knicks go on this fantabulous run. I know Stephen A. is probably super ecstatic. Spike Lee seems to be at every game. Timothy Chalamet is living it up. But, man, you talk about those tickets. Like, could you imagine? That's like a Cardinal, my Reds, like 3, 4, 5 utility bills.
Money in my life at one time.
But how many people are actually?
I think that's why
paying
Quinn
that out of
Snyder
pocket?
got that extension today.
Bro, I'm just like, man, money must be nice. To be in that spot, though.
Yeah, I think-
Not as being a media member, a contingency member in that building, like, oh, boy, it has to be crazy.
I think Quinn Snyder got that extension today because of the fact that the Hawks were the only team to beat the Knicks in the playoffs so far. So they said, let's lock this guy down. Let's see if he can get it done next year.
Got to. I'm telling you, there's so much potential. The draft's coming up. A lot of key guys on the board. I think there's going to be a great showing for the Atlanta Hawks come next season. I'm not going to say it that they're going to go all the way to the finals, but I think they'll be winning several more games. Give me a high 60-plus wins. I'm going to go ahead and say it here, 60-plus. I'm not going to give 82-0, but 60-plus wins. Hey, Ryan, I see it. Look, I'm destined, man. They got some guys. They're going to go out. Free agency is crazy. I hear Braun's up. Look, maybe they go out and get him. I'm just saying there's a lot of possibilities there, all right? I'm going to be the hot
James
take.
will not be playing in Atlanta, Georgia.
Wouldn't it be nice, though?
Well, he certainly won't be playing in Memphis.
That's true. Yeah. The guy does not like Memphis.
Man, what is it? I've been to Memphis, though. It's not that bad. It's not. The barbecue's good.
It's not that bad.
The Grizzlies are
I
nice.
go to Memphis. It's just
They got a nice
Now, if you got other places to live and play ball, I would maybe choose somewhere else.
That's true. That's true. That's true. There is a lot of extra factors. Fellas, it's been a
LeBron's
great
words,
show.
not mine. Not mine.
It's been a great show. It's been a great show. Appreciate y'all joining us for another edition of The Pit. I look forward to doing this again real soon. This time next week with myself and Drew Pavon. But shout out to the guys for joining us, and thank y'all for watching.